Okay, so thank you for that. So
Mm.
there's still beauty within the deep underlying struggle. That sounds so existentialist in a sense.
Yeah.
So now moving on. So currently with the pandemic, we have been noticing like so much flaws in our system, especially
Mm.
our healthcare system. Our healthcare system, how we were prepared in the sense prepared during that
Yeah.
time, but however, like over a standard period of time, there we realized, no, damn, we could have stopped it from the beginning. We could have not experienced this quarantine, and currently we're still holding our quarantine right now. Everyone's still standing in their houses. I still staying in their houses, while other countries such as New Zealand, Taiwan are slowly opening up, and some states also in the United States, such as Texas, are slowly opening up to the new normal. Now, this 2022 is the election I is the presidential elections of the Philippines. So do you think that there's a revitalization of the elections this upcoming 2022, because
I
especially we saw the flaws within our system and also with our leaders?
I would say that there would be a huge revitalization because of the facts that you stated. We as a Filipino people have seen the many flaws within our institutions, such as healthcare, mismanagement of government affairs, and a lot of things that I would I would not say that I would say are massive screw ups for a government. For example, our quarantine protocols aren't up to standard with other countries, and we are expecting a lot from a country that does so little because out of all countries in the world, the Philippines has a very unique situation of being an archipelago, and we're doing quarantine protocols in the assumption that we are one united nation, like a one big island, which makes it very complicated because our quarantine protocols are meant for populated areas. However, it's not meant for other parts of the Philippines, such as the more remote locations of our country. And because of that, because of those mismanagement and mishandling of the government protocols and government institutions, such as the infamous PhilHealth uh, event, there would be a revitalization of the Philippine elections because of the fact that slowly but surely critical thinking is developing within the society, not only towards young people, college students who are taking law or whatever, but also with old people who used to firmly believe in their standing and their political beliefs, but now are slowly turning and seeing that the system is flawed and we should change it. And the only way we can change it is to vote properly, not to vote what they want, but to vote properly.
That's really well said, Ethan. So have you registered already?
No, not yet because I haven't had the time, and I'm planning to register with my relatives, and it's a very tight schedule because of online class and the very fluctuating quarantine announcements. For example, in Cebu City, we have there's rumors of there being another quarantine, so it's very confusing. We can't set a definite date.
I think it's really you can set a schedule, I think, after classes, because if you go nearer to 2022, many people would register and it will take a lot of your time.
True, true. I'll take that in mind. Thank you, Daphne.
Okay, so speaking of elections,
Mm.
who do you think would run as president
Oh, that
for
is difficult
2022?
because at this point anyone can run for the presidency from daughters of actual politicians and to even boxers. So I would say that I wouldn't really have a bias towards a certain politician because it's very wild, mainly because of the qualifications to become a president in the Philippines. Because as far as I know, all you have to do is to be over a certain age and know how to read and write, not necessarily serve in a government office for more than an X number of years. You just have to read and write. So,
Do you see that as an issue?
um, I would say that that would be an issue because the quality of uh, the government office is most it would be mostly decided by the kind of president you have running at the helm. Um, so if our president has barely passed the minimum qualifications in order to run for presidency, I would say that that would be an overall what's this deterrent or bad what, I forgot the word na noon. Overall negative thing to happen to our government because he just barely passed the qualifications. He hasn't really experienced anything within the government scene and thus would be I would say most likely be controlled or manipulated by his party or the vice president or whatever.
Okay, thank you. So, continuing to that question a while ago. So, for your candidate that you would vote in your ballot, which which definition would you go? Is it a passionate servant leader who is willing to serve his country, his or her or their country, or a person who is competent in working and delivering his or her or they's promises?
I would say that in the current state of the Philippines right now, we need to action towards opening up our country and making everything back the way it once was because due to the kind of country the Philippines is, we're not that fortunate as other countries who can have these various luxuries in online learning and whatnot. So I would say that the best kind of president for the Philippines now would have to be someone who is willing to do the things in order for the country to grow better. So I would go for the competent one, the competent leader who can deliver in his or her or their promises. However, we should not also forget the other candidate who is a servant leader because ultimately you're not a person like an almighty being like God am I kind of person. You're just a person who was voted by the people to lead them towards greater things. You're not some kind of god. You're just a dude with given the power to do things. And I think that quality should be remembered by anyone running for presidency because power can corrupt even the best of people. So, to answer your question, I would say that a mix of both of the candidates would be the best for the Philippines.